always watches it. You know,
Are you from
I don't
there?
have my phone. I don't
Oh, that's kind of nice.
because I use my phone. You can watch it.
Hi.
Never.
All right, y'all.
Nobody does.
We online.
Oh yes, yeah.
We online.
Oh, you're good. I'm just about my knee.
We're going to take this this song to let ourselves get centered. The name of it is I hear love's voice calling. I hear love's voice calling us home. Back where we belong. Those of you online, welcome to Way of Mastery. Way of mastering love, the way of mastering truth, the way of mastering our own inner peace. So take a deep breath. Let's bring the energy in. Ask love to call us home. Love is calling. Love is calling. It's calling us back where we belong. I see the world is turning. I see the world is turning. I see the world is turning us on. The world is turning us on. Makes us forget about our inner home. I see the world is turning. I see the world is turning. In some ways, spinning and burning out of control. Don't let the fear steal your soul. Love is calling. Keeps on calling. Love is calling us home. It keeps on calling. Keeps on calling. Love is calling us home. Love is calling us home. Love is calling us home. Welcome to the Way of Mastery. I want us to realize we don't have to believe it, accept it, welcome it. Some of the ideas are hard to believe. Some of the ideas are quite startling. But if you use the ideas, you will see that the ideas are true. Love is calling us home. I hear God's voice calling. Calling us home. Back where we belong. I'm hearing God's voice calling. Back where we came from. God is calling. Keeps on calling. God is calling. Angels calling. love is calling us home. God is calling us home. Let's open our hearts and our minds. And let's be grateful for each other. Well, welcome my mighty companions that are live online, that are watching this class right now. Naris, CJ, Britt, Demola, Stella, Barbara, Joseph, Grace, and all the other mighty companions, Scott, Jerry. We got some really cool mighty companions that are gathering with us online right now. Welcome to the way of mastery, the way of love, the way of mastery, the way of love. We are entitled to miracles. We deserve freedom under all conditions. You deserve freedom under all conditions. We request freedom under all conditions. Let's join because love is calling us home. God is calling us home. Spirit is calling us home. Truth is calling us home. Truth is calling us home. Spirit is calling us home.
All right.
That was Brother John Christmas. If you get a chance and you'd like to get more of the music of John, just go to www.johnchristmas.com. All those songs are based on Course of Miracles. Okay. We're going to be in the Way of Mastery, and we're going to be on page 341. We're going to be on page 341 in the Way of Mastery. And I'm going to go through it and see what the main point is that the Way of Mastery is trying to get us to see, and throw it open for questions or comments online or in the room. And we're going to see how much of this we can cover tonight. The name of this section is You Were Born to Create. You were born to create. I was born to create. I was born to create. There are a few points that I always want to stare in every class. First of all, the Course in Miracles and the Way of Mastery teach that a person is really ready to go to another level when they're willing to recognize that what they know is not all there is to know. Okay, most people are much more concerned about being right about their point of view than being open to another way of seeing things. Would you mind cutting that light on over there? That light switch. We'll put a little bit more light in here. Thank you. It's right to your right. Yeah. Thanks. So right now, I'm going to operate from the perspective that I don't know instead of I do know, so that I can get in the state of mind to let me hear the truth and let me hear what Spirit has to say to me. So it says, "Beloved and holy friends, I come forth to abide with you merely as merely your brother and your friend. Remember always that a brother or sister is not someone who is above you, But the term brother and sister from a metaphysical spiritual perspective means that I am your equal. So to be brothers and sisters means that we're equal. Remember always that a friend is one who chooses deliberately to see in you the perfection of Christ and all greatness that can be birthed through you until you're willing to see yourself in such a light. Okay, I'm your friend, so I'm choosing deliberately to see in you the perfection of love and greatness that you're capable of until you see it for yourself. So as your friend, I'm going to see you as being much more conscious, much more loving, much more perfect than you may be seeing yourself. That's what a friend does. So somebody that's criticizing you and putting you down and pointing out your lacks might not be in the friend category. Just saying.
Unfriend them.
Just saying. Unfriend. And sometimes you have to unfriend them in the face. You know, like, we have to do a little unfriending right here. So I say it again. A friend is somebody that's going to see you further than where you see yourself. And see the perfection in you even if you don't see it in yourself.
Right.
They believe in your potential and the way you're going to possibly express yourself. I do not understand why people get in relationships with people that are special relationships with people who put them down all the time. Because it doesn't make much sense to me. Because if the purpose of someone that's truly your friend is to see the perfection of Christ, which is the perfection of love in you, but they're constantly criticizing you and judging you in some way, then that is not your friend. And the person that's supposed to be most intimate with you should definitely be the one that's perceiving your perfection. And perfection doesn't mean that you've reached some state that you won't continue to expand and grow. What perfection means, according to these teachings, is that you're whole and complete and there's nothing missing in you. So I got a perfect car because my car is complete. It's got all its car parts. So if you're perfect, you're whole, you're complete. So it says in the next line, then that friend, after seeing your potential, joins with you in a holy relationship, which is a healed, loving relationship. And so what you and your friend or you and your intimates should be doing is joining together to create, to play, and to extend the truth. So it's a tough role. I'm going to see you and see the perfection in you beyond what you see in yourself. And then we go party like a big dog. You know, we're going to create together, we're going to play together, and then we're going to extend that truth together. So everybody clear about that? Okay, I go back and say that one more time. If you're my brother or sister, that just means that we are equals. Number two, I'm going to be your friend. So that means I'm going to deliberately see the perfection in you and see the potential in you that you may not see in yourself until you see it. Then we're going to get together and we're going to create and we're going to play and we're going to extend that truth that we just got through seeing in each other. Any questions or comments about that? Everybody clear about that? All right, so if you are constantly focusing on what's lacking in you, then it would be cool to connect and join with people who see you beyond the way that you see yourself right now. But what I've noticed is that when people are depressed, they tend to isolate. So they do just the opposite. They isolate themselves, listen to the inner narrator who's telling them things about themselves that doesn't make them feel good. And avoid the people who would give them a more positive point of view. Okay, so see if there's any questions. All right, okay, cool. Hello, Talisha, Blue Sky, Doreo, Joanna. We got some new people here tonight. Welcome to the Way of Mastery. Okay, so now we're going to get to the difference between creating something and making something. We're going to learn the difference between creation and making, creating and making. So, first of all, you were born and created to create. You were born and created to create. You were not born to make anything. Interesting. You weren't born to make anything. You were born to create, not to make. You can't make love. You cannot make love. You cannot make love. It's not like a cake. Okay? It's not like a pie. You don't make love. Okay? You make fear, but you don't make love. So what we do most of the time is we make fear. When you think about how much fear, insecurity, and jealousy even around the idea of making love, in most cases people are making fear. But you can extend love, you can create love, You can be a channel for love, but you can't make love. Okay? So I'm glad that that's not my responsibility. I'm glad that my responsibility is to be a conduit for the love to come through. I don't have to make water. I have to let the water come through me if I'm a hose, right? So I'm not going to make love. I'm going to get out of the way so that the love that's already there can go through me. So then it says, what is the difference between making and creating? Well, here it goes. The difference between making and creating is that anything that you make requires the special efforts of your ego. And so when you're making something, it requires special efforts. When I look around me, it looks like that's what I see all around me. Everybody making special efforts, right? Then it says making involves planning what one wants based on what one already knows. So people plan based on what they already believe and what they already know, and then they set about to find a way to bring it into being according to their own ideas. I'll say it again. If I'm going to make something, I'm going to plan. I'm going to plan based on what I already know, and then I'm going to try to find it according to my own ideas about how to find it. Making always has an element of fear. Making always has an element of fear, since the ego, the part of me that thinks it's on its own, the ego itself is the fundamental contradiction of fear. So my ego is the part of my mind that is afraid, that doesn't believe it's going to be taken care of unless it makes its own provisions. So out of my fear of being taken care of, then I come up with a plan based on what I've already learned and what I already know and what I already believe. And then I come up with my own ideas about how I'm going to make that happen. And since there's no absolute certainty in any of that, there's always an element of fear that what you plan may not go the way you planned. Agreed?
Yes.
Everybody had that experience?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So then it says creating, in the way that I am using these terms, creating is quite different. It says you know that the Way of Mastery is a channel book. And that means that the person that it came through was allowing themselves to have an intelligence other than themselves, greater than themselves, to come through. And in this case, that intelligence that's coming through claims to be Jesus. All right? The correct perception of Jesus. Okay? A loving perception. Now, whether you believe it or not really isn't that important. What's important is the content of what it's saying, and when you use it, you will see that it works. So that I don't get into a lot of debate with people about whether it's not or whether it's... Well, to me, if you are trying to learn something and it doesn't resonate with you, it doesn't flow with you, and it's nothing that you can find yourself seeing value in other than to battle it, then go do something else. Go throw this, get rid of this book, and then go to the park. Go get another book. Go to the movie. It's you know what I'm saying. It's okay if you don't believe it, but some people, it absolutely resonates, and they absolutely see value. I'm one of them, and I'm sure that some of you may or may not be that way, but I believe that. And there are hundreds of people online that believe that. That's what's always so funny about having such an intimate group in the room, and then actually we're a much larger audience than what it looks like. Which means there are a lot of people that resonate with what this is saying. I know Jesus has been trying to get to me, because I had a lot of misperceptions about the whole idea of Jesus. I was raised Southern Baptist, and I was taught a very fearful, limited perception of Jesus, God, Christ, that whole shebang. Yeah. And then I eventually got into the Course in Miracles, which also claims to be the voice of Jesus, corrected perception. Then I got in the Way of Mastery, which also claims to be Jesus. And then communicating, and then I got into the Course of Love, which claims to be Jesus in the channeling. And a couple of more books that you're probably not familiar with, but they all claim to be Jesus. So all of the channel books that have come to me have claimed to be the Jesus consciousness. And then I realized, wow, it started when I was a child. That for some reason, that's my teacher. Like, everybody's got different teachers. And you can say Muji, and that's a teacher, and people don't freak out. You can say Sai Baba, and you can say Baba Ji, and you can say Eastern teachers that I can't even pronounce their names. And everybody, yeah, right. Try saying Jesus, and watch everybody freak out You know, why can't you honor Jesus as a teacher also?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's interesting that there's so many fears and so many misperceptions, and I had them myself. It wasn't until I got into the Course in Miracles that I let the Course in Miracles remove my blocks to the loving, correct perception of Jesus, as opposed to the one that I learned that was... and what I've noticed is every time I turn to Jesus as a teacher, I get miracles in my life, and I get blessings that happen. So I'm cool with the idea now. Nobody else has to be cool with the idea. They got to do their own work, or it could come to them through something or somebody else, because love, spirit, comes to us through many different forms and many different pathways. I always hope that people find theirs, whatever the one is that resonates for them, rather than spend all their time attacking somebody else's path. That's what the Course in Miracles teaches. It says all of us want the same thing, which is happiness, but where we clash is on the way to achieve it. Like my way of doing it clashes with your way of doing it, so you judge my way and I judge your way, but we both want the same thing. We want happiness. We want love. We want peace. So he says, so creating in the way that I am using these terms is quite different. When I say that you were born to create, when I say that you were created to create, I mean that being made in the Creator's image. That means your only function is to serve, that's what I was saying earlier. Your only function is to serve as a conduit through which the unfathomable mystery and beauty of love can be expressed in ways that can be seen in the world. That sounds deep, but all it's saying is, if you're a creator, you're a conduit where the mystery of love can be expressed in the world. I'm here to be a sprinkler system. I'm here, let's say water is the love and I'm the sprinkler. So I'm here to let the love and the truth come through me in my own unique way. You're here to let love and the truth come through you in your own unique way. You got a very special way of doing it that no one else can do it exactly the way you do it. And there are people who will always be sent to you that wants it just the way you give it. Sounds like a great arrangement. The way I do it is the way somebody likes it. And the way I do it is the way somebody wants it. Saves a lot of time, because I'm not really trying to get somebody who's not interested in doing it to do it. I keep hearing that over and over again. And then he says, an artist can do that with a brush, a singer can do that with a song, a writer can do it with a word, a friend can do it with a smile, a gardener with a garden. I'm noticing that people smile at me more. And more and more and more and more and more and more. So that reminds me of what we said in the Course in Miracles Sunday, when it says that those who are like you will always recognize you, and those who aren't like you or think you're like you, they're like you. They'll just assume they're like you. But those who are like you, we recognize each other. Conscious, loving people recognize each other. So you are in the act of extending creation, whenever you surrender your own ideas of what a thing is or what a thing is for. Okay, let me hear that again. Okay, so you are really creating when you're willing to let go of your personal ideas about what you think something is for. So if I'm going to allow love to come through me to you, I've got to let go of my personal beliefs about what you are for. It's not about using you to take care of my personal needs. It's really about you are there for me to allow love to be extended to you through. You're not there so that I can get something from you because I believe I'm lacking love. So I've got to let go of my belief of what I think you are here for. And the way of mastering the Course in Miracles and the Course of Love says that a person that doesn't really know the truth thinks that the purpose of everyone is to make them special. To somehow make them special. To give them special attention. To acknowledge them in some way that makes them feel special. And it takes a lot of different forms. That's pretty much true. Yeah, I want to be treated special. I want somebody to single me out. I want to be acknowledged. I want to be praised. I want you to love me. And I want you to love me more than anybody else. I want to be the most important ones. Even in relationships where people are in more open relationships as opposed to traditional relationships, usually there's still a primary partner in the relationship every time I've ever seen one. It's always somebody that is at the top of the pyramid. Even if there are other people included in the relationship, it still is somebody that's the most special one. So the specialness still rules, even in our so-called alternative relationships or traditional relationships, the specialness still rules. So it says you're in the act of extending creation, whenever you surrender your own ideas of what a thing is for or is, and choose only to do what you do in order to enjoy the presence of love and the offering of that love to whomever or whatever will receive it. So to create means that I'm going to choose what I do in order to enjoy love, and also I'm going to offer that love to whomever and whatever will receive it. So something that is real, something that is created from love, it is available to anybody and everybody. Notice it said, offering of that love to whomever or whatever will receive it. It didn't say offering to that love to a certain person that will receive it. It says, I'm going to offer the love, I'm going to offer the truth to whoever and whatever will receive it. So I'm going to give love where it's welcome. I'm going to be a conduit of love where it's welcome. So love is waiting on welcome. So I'm going to walk the world saying, I want to be on the lookout for who seems to welcome the love that would come through me. And there's another thing Spirit just told me to tell you right now. Stop thinking about yourself so much. Stop thinking about yourself so much. Stop thinking about yourself so much. Stop sitting around thinking about yourself so much. Stop 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 thinking about yourself so much. Most people who are depressed are thinking about themselves.
Yeah.
They're thinking about themselves. There's something about themselves. They're upset about something about themselves. They're not pleased about something about themselves. Stop thinking about yourself so much.
Whoa.
Stop thinking about yourself so much. Raj, stop thinking about yourself so much. Stop thinking about yourself so much. Stop thinking about yourself so much. Be like everybody else. Don't think about you. Everybody else doing a darn good job of not thinking about you so much. So why don't you be like the other people? Don't think about you so much either. You got a lot of help. Nobody else is having that problem. I'm not thinking about you so much. You know, it's so good.
What'd you say, Earl?
Stop thinking about yourself. Stop thinking about yourself so much, Bonnie.
Okay.
Think about me.
Okay.
All of y'all, think about me. Tanisha says, I'm absolutely that way. The way of mastery resonates with ease. CJ says, yes, I have also been so drawn to the lineage of texts that come from the voice of Jesus. And I have just interesting names. Carrie Bazzi just joined us. I think I'm saying it right. Or Kari or Carrie. Forgive me if I demolish your name. I'm just doing the best I can.
Yes.
Okay? Because y'all, you know us true people. We don't ever have normal names. We don't play that. we don't never have. It's very seldom a Sally. Okay? Truth students always have exotic names. You know? All right. Demola says, only function we are here for is to learn to give and receive love. That's right. Patricia says, good evening. Sorry I'm a little late. That's a deep prophetic statement. CJ says, welcome, Patricia. Perfect timing. See there? That's a new friend right there. Patricia says, so true. Stop thinking about yourself. Today I just did it. And I did many things Holy Spirit guided me to do. And I solved many problems for others. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. Okay. So any questions, any comments about what I've covered so far before I go deeper into this? Suzanne, good to see you, darling. I all just got home from my road trip. Okay. I noticed that I tend to attract more people that like to listen to what's coming through me than question or comment. It's really interesting, whether it's online or whatever. I get very few questions and very few comments. Now, I just want you to know I'm giving you the opportunity to do it. Don't say I haven't given everybody an opportunity to share or to make comments or to ask questions.
Do you have techniques that you like that you can focus not just on your being and what you're going through? Do you have like specific?
Yeah, my technique for doing that is focusing on what the truth itself is trying to teach me and tell me. And then to practice it and apply it to the people around me. See, rather than me just saying, for instance, let's take a Course in Miracles lesson, for instance. let's say the Course in Miracles lesson says, I give everything I see all the meaning that it has for me. Okay, well, I would say to you, I would be with you, Con, and go, Con is giving everything he sees all the meaning that it has for him. Mm-hmm. Con only sees the past. Con is never upset for the reason he thinks. Con is entitled to miracles. That miracles replace all grievances for Con. Mm-hmm. Con only has one problem and it's already been solved. Because sometimes I forget that the truth applies to everybody else. So I'll apply it to me and still feel like I'm obligated to somehow or another fix you. As if you aren't also creating your reality. It's as if you don't also have your link to the Holy Spirit just like I do. See, I want to give all my problems to God. Mm-hmm. But why is it that I want to give mine to God, but then I want to solve yours? Yeah. And that's what we do. We go, I want to give mine to God, and then we'll feel like I have to solve yours, though. Mm-hmm. I've got to help fix your issue. And the truth is, if I really believe that the Creator could solve my problems, the best thing I could possibly do is give you to the Creator too, and then ask the creative force if there's anything that it wants me to do. And then I act on my guidance, but not before asking. And whatever the Creator tells me to do, it's always going to be something I can do, and it's also going to be something that I don't see as a sacrifice to do. Mm-hmm. Got it? It's going to be something I can do now, and it's not going to be something I see as a sacrifice to do. So that's how I do it.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah. If I'm focusing on this, I'm not focusing on me.
Right.
You know, and so when I see people and I have compassion for them, but usually they're obsessed with themselves. Mm.
Mm-hmm. So yesterday I thought a horrible thing happened, and I just kept saying, I'm never upset for the reason I think. Mm-hmm. I am never upset for the reason I think, and I just totally heard, just give it up. So I said, God bless me, God bless that situation, and God please take it. And I woke up this morning feeling like, it's all good. I mean, I'm not upset about that. I was upset about what I thought it would create and what I thought it had been in the past, and why can't it just be different? Why can't it just be... So the thing that you've been teaching us the most is why is it that I'm going to allow someone else to affect my peace? Mm-hmm. Everybody, like I want them to behave different so that I'm going to feel better.
That's right.
I'm going to have a great time if you don't do that, or if you do that, or if they don't. And it's like, it's really, I'm really getting that. I'm really getting that was a huge thing, and I kept saying, well, how could I have created that?
Right.
And look at the lesson I got within 24 hours.
That's right. Mm. That's right. And at one point, you may get to the point that you go, I know I created that, I don't know how I did it, and I don't know why I did it, but I created that for myself. Mm-hmm. And you will see miracles of things being healed if you do that. See, the booby prize is our ego wants us to focus on, how did I do it, why did I do it, how did I do it, why did I do it, how did I do it, why did I do it, how did I do it, why did I do it. And the thing that the truth is trying to get us to do is say, I did it. I just want you to own it. If you own it, you empower yourself. If you empower yourself, then the universe is about healing. The universe is about love. If you let the universe do its thing, the universe would, or God, would correct whatever it is that needs to be corrected. There's a line in the Course in Miracles that goes, especially, it talks about, Spirit says, that basically it's saying, I can take care of everything that doesn't matter, which is everything you all are always concerned about. I don't think it's funny, and I can guide you in terms of the things that do matter. So I noticed that I'm being guided to learn how to remove the blocks to love and to learn how to extend love. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm studying, right? Mm-hmm. So I can be guided to be more loving. Mm-hmm. So I am being guided. And at the same time, I'm noticing the more I focus in on this, food, clothing, and shelter, the necessities of my life seem to always be taken care of in one way or another. So I take it that I'm on scholarship, like a spiritual scholarship, where if you keep your grades up, they take care of the room and board. That's the relationship I've always seen myself as having the Spirit since I got into the Course. It was like, oh, you keep your grades up, we'll take care of the rest of it. And keeping your grades up simply means you're willing to give your awakening some attention and study. You are being willing to be more loving, attention and study. So So I had to learn how to let life be easier. Because I'm a maker. And what does that mean? He just told us, well, if you're a maker, then what you're going to do is come up with a plan for what you think is going to make you happy as a maker, and then you're going to try to come up with your own ideas about how to get that done. Then you're going to assign roles to everybody in your life to help you achieve your goal. And if they don't play their part, you say stuff like, you don't support me. You didn't even ask me if I wanted to play this role in your play for what you think your life is supposed to be. You just assigned me a role. You're supposed to be home every day at 6:30 because that makes me happy. So that's your plan. Your plan is to control me, to get me to act a certain way in order for you to be happy. See, that's why it's not based in love. That's why there's an element of fear. Because there's always the possibility I will not come home at 6:30. So you always have the fear that the way you set it up may not happen the way you set it up. I've set it up that no one should ever break into my car. Then I freak out when I come back and somebody has done that. Why? Because I made my happiness dependent on no one ever breaking into my car. That was my plan. Is that no one will ever do anything I don't want them to do so that I can be happy. That's making. That's not creating.
Along the same lines as karma, less and less.
Karma is the effect of my own actions and thoughts. My karma is that I'm going to receive what I'm given. And people think of karma as a negative thing. It's not really a negative thing. It's just the rule, the law of cause and effect. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Let's see if we got any questions or comments online.
Woo!
What's that? Oh, okay. Stella says, let's see what our friends are saying. Jenny says, I'm waiting for guidance and my storyteller is the one answering, or is it? How do you tell when it's the Holy Spirit? Well, the Holy Spirit is all, whatever love is guiding you, is always going to give you some form of peace. Another way that you can tell when the Holy Spirit is the one that's guiding you, it's the voice for love. It's the voice for freedom. It's the voice of union. It's the voice of peace. It's the voice of joining. And also remember, too, that the Holy Spirit is teaching us that love is not form, it's content. So the Spirit is going to be much more relevant to your inner state of being, your inner state of mind, than any kind of a physical condition outside of yourself that you've made up that you think is going to make you happy, because your happiness is not going to come from any of that ultimately. It's going to come from the way you're seeing it. So the Holy Spirit's guidance is always going to be guidance that has to do with you changing your perception, more so than any other thing. And it's going to be a perception that's based on love. Something that's coming from the Holy Spirit is always based on love and peace. We are so form-oriented. We are so taught to believe our happiness has to do with people, places, things, and conditions, that when we hear something like this, it doesn't turn people on who think a house is going to do it, a car is going to do it, or a special relationship is going to. And even though it's not saying anything against that, there's nothing in these books that are putting down you having a nice house, a nice car, and anything else. It's just saying to us that none of that means anything if you're miserable in it. So the most important thing to have is peace of mind. That any conscious being knows that's much more important than the car you drive. So the voice of the Holy Spirit doesn't command, doesn't demand, does not try to force you to do anything. It's a voice that you have to be totally willing and open to hearing. Stella says, giving to the Creator on a daily basis is the only surefire way to get true comfort. I see miracles daily, but I still struggle believing I am here to create. I have much more peace. So, if we already knew that we were here to create and we already had total certainty, it would be no reason to study, no reason to read the book, and no reason for us to even be sitting here. So the last thing that we should be getting upset with ourselves about is that we haven't already achieved in our perception what we're taking the class to achieve. Or it's why would we be in the class? So it doesn't make any sense for us to continue to, at any level, judge ourselves for not having perfected the way that we're going to express ourselves. So love wouldn't do that. So Robin has joined. Thank you, Robin. Okay, I'm going to keep on going now. And again, I'm glad to see you all are interacting with each other online as well as interacting with me. So, creation then is the process in which the Creator extends herself or himself from the world of the formless into the world of form. That means when you choose to invite friends to dinner and you have no ulterior agenda except to be with them and to create a good salad and some soup for them and hopefully fried catfish. Hint, 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 hint.
Hint, hint.
Ooh, that's an ulterior agenda, isn't it?
Yes.
I've got it. I just had to get to the point I had to cook my own catfish. Now,
That's
I had
right.
to go ahead and learn. I had to cook me some before I got here. Then I found if I would cook it, I could have it anytime I wanted it.
Absolutely.
Wow! What a novel idea, giving it to myself. Oh, my goodness.
Was it good?
Oh, it was good.
All right.
That's all right. That's what I'm saying. You know, that catfish was good. Slow. Slow with it. So, if you invite somebody to dinner and have no ulterior agenda except to be with them and to create a good salad and some soup for them, just because you love them, boom, what? Just because you're doing it, just because you love them.
Yes.
And because you are in a joyful state of being. Happy people normally, willingly share.
Yes.
Right? So he says, that then you are extending the reality of the presence of God. What I love about The Way of Mastery is that The Way of Mastery really, it's a book to me that brings it down to the day-to-day types of situations that we're dealing with. Like I said, you know, inviting somebody over for dinner. Don't invite them over to dinner with an ulterior motive. And that if you are doing it because you love them, then you're going to be in a joyful state. And that is you extending the reality of the love of God. So it doesn't have to always be a really deep, abstract thing that you're doing. It could be as simple as leaving here tonight, you know, going somewhere together and getting a bite to eat, and just being glad to be with each other and extending love with each other. Okay? He says, surely this is much different than what your politicians do when they invite their friends for dinner. Usually if a politician invites you for dinner, it is something because they want you to help their agenda in some way. But guess what? We could be politicians too, because a lot of times that's what people do. They invite you because they want something. They take you out to dinner because they want something. They call you because they want. You all have those people, I bet you. All of you have those people that you know when you see their number on the caller ID, you go, they want something. Why they call that? When this person calls me, I pretty much know they want something, because that's the only time I hear from them is when they want something, you know, or if they're in some type of a dire strait of some kind. You know, like if you do what I do with you, and I joyfully am willing to be a person that counsels and helps and heals, but the majority of reasons that people contact me is for that reason. They don't generally contact me just for the sake of giving me love. Right? And I own that because that's my function, and I'm willing to do that. But I'm just letting you know that it's not a lot of times about me in bringing joy to me, you know, and that's okay. But because I'm asking for that, I'm saying I want to be of service. But so I'm not talking about that level. I'm just talking about the regular people in your circles. Okay. So then I have to ask myself, if I'm picking up the phone, then why are you calling, Earl? What is your purpose? What is it for? And the Course in Miracles says that you should always ask yourself those two questions in every situation. What is the purpose? What is it for? And the other one is, what do I want to come of this? So I always ask myself, okay, you feeling some type of attraction or something you think you want to do? What is your purpose? What is it for? What do you want to come of this? He says, because if you set the goal, you have determined how it's going to turn out, because the goal determines the outcome. So the most important thing you can do in any situation is get clear about what's your purpose in doing it. All right? Indeed, your friends are involved in making, while your dinner is the flow of creation. Yeah, you made the dish, that's temporary, but the creating of it is the flow of love that's happening during the dinner. Got it? So I made you a cake, but the love that I baked it with is what's true and real. That's why you can remember a gift someone gave you and feel love and gratitude, even though the gift itself may be long gone. You know, I still think of with love how my brothers and sisters chipped, because we were very financially poor when I was a child, and how my brothers and sisters all chipped in together to buy me a really nice bicycle when I was 10 years old, right? So, and even to the day, that touches me because I remember the situation we were in at that time. So that was like saying my brothers and sisters got together and bought me a Rolls Royce, all right? And so I got this beautiful bicycle, and it was better than I could have even imagined that it was going to be. And I got on that bicycle and went right out of the house and got hit by a car. So, and so I spent Christmas Day in the hospital.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I really didn't feel innocent about receiving the bicycle. Even at 10 years old, I had some unconscious guilt that said, I don't think you really deserve a bicycle. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? You all know what I'm talking about.
Wow.
Where you have something cool happen to you, and right after that you'll create some type of a challenge for yourself. Right afterwards. You know, we tend to do that until we work throughout our unconscious guilt. You know, God was with me because I didn't get killed. You know, but then that sent me on a journey that was incredible as far as things I learned and experienced about myself.
Wow.
You know, because there I was with a cast up to my thigh because I almost severed my foot. But the kid in the bed next to me had 2nd and 3rd degree burns. At that time, they put people who had burns in the same place as people who had regular stuff. So compared to the lesson, the challenge that he was having, it was a whole nother level. I never forgot that. Just, you know. So my point in saying this is, the more I can accept my innocence, the more I can realize that I deserve it. It is natural to receive love and beautiful things. I won't always think, some part of me won't always think I got to pay for it. You know, the Course in Miracles talks about how we think we have to pay for pleasure with pain. He calls it coins of suffering. Oh, I just had a good time. I'm got to have some coins of suffering here to pay for that good time that I just had. Or if things go good for you for a long period of time, you'll be wondering if something's going to happen to end it, you know. Yeah, that's what we call it, waiting for the other shoe to drop. And so when you recognize you are loved, and it's an abundance and happiness and joy should be your natural state, then you won't do that punishing yourself for receiving it. So when something really wonderful happens to me now, I tell myself, God, I'm so glad that something ordinary happened to me. Because seeing it as ordinary doesn't trigger that part of me that thinks that I have to pay for it because it was something special. And then when something happens that I tell myself I don't like, I call that special. Because special to my mind means something that happens every now and then and not something you can have all the time. That's what makes it special. So I flipped it. So a happy day is an ordinary day. Loving people, that's ordinary people. And I don't tell a person that gives me a gift that was ordinary. But internally, I'm grateful, but I'm also telling myself that's the way it should be. We should be loving with each other. We should be kind to each other. That shouldn't be looked at as special. Oh, I can't believe I met 3 nice people this week. It was really a special week. You know, that's what people look at it. Like, I can't believe I met somebody so nice. Instead of realizing everybody in your experience should be loving towards you. That shouldn't be special that there's one person that treats you well. But for a lot of people, that is the truth. That they don't have a lot of people in their lives that see them as whole and perfect and beautiful until they can see it for themselves. So, in the flow of creation, this is what he's saying. Indeed, the people that come to your dinner are involved in making, while your dinner is the flow of creation. In the flow of creation, the form itself is always recognized to be secondary. The form is a mere instrumentation for the content. My form, my body, is secondary to what's coming to you through my body. What really matters is what's coming to you through my body, more than my body. So when you start to wake up, you're much more interested in the content of the person than their physical form. In making, the form becomes very important. So if you're a person that's more of a maker than a creator, you're much more concerned about the appearance of something than the content in it, right? He says, why? Because in making, the egoic mind already believes it knows what things are. The egoic mind, the wrong mind, already believes it knows what they are for, what things are for, since all things are for the ego, safety, and continuance. That is so funny. So what Jesus just said in this was, I already know what all you all are for. What you are for is my safety and my continuance. You follow what I'm saying? You know, I know what you are for. You are here to bring me more joy. I know what you're for. You're here to make me feel more. See, that's what it means. We think we already know what everything is for. We think it's for whatever we want. Right? I mean, let's face it. That's really what happens. It's like I was listening to a tape the other day about manifesting, and the person was saying that, you know, the universe is here to serve your needs. And I remember when I thought that way, that the universe was here to serve whatever it was I wanted. And to realize that the universe will serve what I want when I'm willing to serve the universe. That's the way it really works. When I'm willing to serve the good of all, then it would look like the good of all is serving me. But I have to be willing to be used by all that is if I want all that is to also serve me. See, we want to be served without, in other words, I want to use you without me being used. I want to get stuff from you without me giving. So an unconscious person is always trying to get a huge return for the least amount of investment. Like I want to go to the car lot, and if I can get them to give me a Cadillac that normally costs $50,000, if I can get them to give it to me for $5,000, then I think I've gotten over. And so I walk out and I go, I got a good deal. Man, I got them down to $5,000 for a Cadillac that normally costs $50,000. See, that's what egos do. People in lack consciousness always want to receive more than they're giving. They want to get. So it's not really about me giving. It's about how much can I get out of the situation and for the least amount of value and effort that I can put into it. So so you really got a $5,000 Cadillac, and you're going to probably end up paying $50,000 in repairs. Somehow or another, you're going to end up paying equal value. It's going to balance itself out one way or the other. You know, so that's why a person who really values what they do, they don't mind charging, as we call it, a high price if they think it's valuable. If I really think when I'm offering you is worth $1,000, I shouldn't feel guilty about asking $1,000 for it. Now, if I don't think it's valuable enough to ask $1,000 for it, then I must not ask $1,000 for it, because I will feel guilty, like I'm somehow or another being dishonest with you because I'm asking you to give me something that I don't think is equally valuable in terms of what I'm giving you back. But if I really think what I'm offering is valuable, then you should ask for what you think you deserve. But then lack consciousness works the other way around. It goes, I really don't think what I have to offer is really valuable, so I'm going to ask a ridiculously small amount of money for what I am giving you. I've just remodeled your kitchen, and I don't really think I'm really good at it, and what I do is valuable, so I'm going to charge you $100. You're going to say, oh, you were just so nice to charge so little. You know what I'm saying? But I'm charging so little because I don't really believe that what I just did for you is worth more than $100. Now, how can I know it has a spiritual basis? Because I also would really do it for you out of my heart if I really wanted to, too. There may be some people I will remodel their kitchen and not ask them a dime for it if they say they cannot pay it. So I'm okay to ask for what I want, and I'm okay about doing it for you for nothing. So why? Because I don't ultimately see you as the one that's taking care of me anyway. I'm really seeing you as a channel. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm seeing you as a channel. So the money that's coming to me is ultimately coming from my source, my creator. And I'm grateful to you and I'm thankful to you for being willing to be a channel. But I'm not grateful for you as if you are the source. So therefore, whether you give me money or not, I'm still going to be provided for because the source is unlimited. The channel may be blocked. There's plenty of water, but your hose may have a kink in it. But there are other hoses in Walmart. You follow what I'm saying? But we get attached to the hose, right? And like, this is the only hose for love. And so I've got to spend all my time trying to fix this hose rather than just going to the store and getting a new hose. And I feel guilty about letting this hose go. And I go to therapy. Right? That's what we do. Everything I want is not coming through this person. So we need to really work this out, even if the person doesn't want to work this out, doesn't want to give it to me, does not want to be loving to me. We're going to work on this forever and forever and forever and forever until we make this work. Where you could go, it's time for a new hose. Matter of fact, I think I'll buy me a hose store. I got racks and racks of hose.
Okay.
Y'all know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. Any thoughts, anybody? Yeah.
I have a big thought.
Okay.
So I'm
I love
working
that. I have a big
with the corporation, and it's definitely turned into like a conglomerate kind of thing. And they're starting all these divisions, and they're doing all this stuff, and I'm just not resonating. And I know that my source and my supply is from spirit.
Right.
Being around this energy is like, I know that they're not serving dinner to me out of the joy of their heart. They want a lot from a lot of people, and I don't see a lot giving back. How do I don't want to just up and quit and up and move away, because it's easy and I've been there a long time, but I'm starting to feel that energy of this doesn't. It just feels there's so much greed, and now I'm in my judgment about it, and I'm having grievance about their greed, and kind of a weird.
Well, I wouldn't make any decision about leaving there until I gave myself peace of mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be my first priority. Is that because everything is going to come out of my peace more than everything is going to come out of what the corporation decides, right?
Yeah.
And so my number one priority is to get centered. And then when I get centered, I'm going to ask my higher self, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? What do you want me to say? Who do you want me to say it to? And then I would take a breath and see, what is life or God presenting me with? Because when you start to become conscious, you step back and you let God lead the way. You no longer put yourself in charge, and you see what is life presenting you with, what is being presented to you right now that's most inspirational, or what is the direction that you find yourself leaning toward. So it's not that you could be ecstatically happy working for that corporation. You could change your mind so that your happiness is so centered from within yourself and your relationship to spirit that you would be totally at peace working in that corporation. Or you could also, with guidance, choose to make another choice and still be peaceful. So it's important to realize that with a change of mind, you actually could have peace where you are. You could always have peace where you are if you can change your mind. But if you feel like you're feeling really spiritually inclined to go in a new direction, and you've been working on yourself enough to truly believe that you're going to be sustained by the love of God, then follow your bliss, follow your heart, follow your inspiration. But many people have what I call the daring of the satisfied stomach, which means that they are so quick to want to leave the job to do their own thing, because in the present moment that they want to leave their job, they do have their bills paid, they do have a check coming in, and they do have some money in the bank. So they really think they're being daring because they so believe in spirit. They're really being daring because their present state is a state where things are basically taken care of. They just don't like the way they're being taken care of. So they're really not bold and courageous. They're just saying that they want to do their own thing from the perspective of having some form of security around them. It's a totally different ball game when every week you don't know where your income is
Yes.
coming from.
Oh, yes.
Which is the way I've lived for 30 years.
Yes. That's a big
I've lived that way for 30 years. Every week is a brand new
Right,
week
yeah.
that I've got to trust Spirit to provide for me as I fulfill my
Yeah.
function. And so what happens with that is, if I didn't believe and if I wasn't working on my relationship to God and being a conduit and listening to guidance, I would be a nervous wreck all the time. And so it wouldn't be any fun to be self-employed and
Right.
doing my own thing, because I'd be too obsessed with how much money I'm going to make this week. And that's what I see so many do who quit their jobs because they're going to follow their dream. Is they become completely obsessed every minute with income and where their income is going to come from, and they don't even let the thing develop enough to be a channel for them taken care of. It's like a farmer who plants corn and then comes back every morning to see if the corn has started sprouting yet and is digging it up to see if he can eat some of the corn, because he is so afraid of being taken care of and provided for, he can't let the thing germinate, gestate, and grow. And so I always believe that if a person wants to go do their own thing, number one, they should be working on their relationship to God. Number one. But most people, they aren't doing that. They're trying to read the how to do this book and how to do that video and the how to make this happen. And all that is egotistical, because it's just trying to convince you that you should try to take care of yourself by your own ingeniousness and your own inventiveness. So you're just building up your own ego and not a real faith in your source. Right? So a smart being is going, okay, if I'm going to ride my bicycle without training wheels, but I have to do the training wheels first, right? And then one day I take the training wheels off. So if you're already on the job, common sense would say, while you're on the job and you have income coming in, then be simultaneously working on and developing the thing that you say you want to do full time. But people go, well, I just want to be able to focus all my attention on my dream without being distracted by my job. And then they go, jump off the cliff and go, beep!
Yes.
Because usually the first time you flop. That's the other thing that people don't really realize. That usually the first initial time out of the gate, you flop. Because you're still very much dependent on your own wits at that point. And then when you flop, and then you go, I give up, I'm kind of desperate. Help me, Lord. Okay, now you're sincere about getting some help from the universe, because you realize that your little plan didn't work out the way you thought it was. You know what I'm saying? So it's really, there's no way in the world I would be doing what I'm doing if I was only dependent on the people who came to my classes or who watched me on the internet. And I'm completely grateful to you and to everybody on the internet. But I can give, and I can give from my heart, because I'm not trying to get from you. And that's what he was saying. I'm not trying to make you do anything, because that's not creating. What I want to do is be a conduit for love to come to you and the truth to come to you. That's what I really want to do, because I know that's what creates true substance. Because people are going to come and go. People are going to change. The person that's given me the greatest accolades of how much they love my classes, how much they love me, how important I am, blah, 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 always move on sooner or later. You know what I'm saying? So if I was all caught up in that, I would be very disappointed, and after 30 years, I would be the most cynical person that you have ever seen sitting up here. If I could tell you how many people have told me, you're the awesomest thing, you have me out, I'll always be dedicated to it. And I go, that's okay, it's wonderful, that's all right. Because the one thing I know I can depend on in this world is change. That's what I learned. People always mean what they say when they say it. And so if you hold them past the moment that they say it to you, you're setting yourself up. You're setting yourself totally up. They can be totally, when they say that to me, how helpful you are, I don't doubt that that's true. But if I try to hold that past the moment that they say it as an expectation, then I am now in my ego. I got to let them change their mind about that. I got to let them be willing to go to somebody else and learn from somebody else, or never come back. But you got to take that same attitude about your special relationships too. You got to let them come, let them go. A lot of people in your life will come and go.
Woo, Earl.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you don't hold it against them because you know they're following the path that Spirit is leading them on for them to become creators. You know. So a lot of things I'm saying very easily right now. It took a whole lot of stuff I went through to get to the point that I'm saying this as casually as I'm saying it. But the truth is, a relationship should save you time. And so if I can save anybody that's listening to me some time, then that's what a holy relationship is. This relationship, that's what parents always want to do with their kids. They always want to save their kids time, right? You know what's going to happen. You pretty much know. If they forget that anything that they're doing, you've done it in your own way, you know. So they're not really pulling anything over your eyes, even though they think they are. And you're thinking, well, if they'd actually listen to me, then they could probably save themselves some pain and still have their own experience. It's possible to do both of them. To have your own life and to let your child have their own life and be helpful to them as they are having their own life. You know, because you know they're not doing nothing original. They're just like you. They're looking for specialness. They think they're right. They come up with their plan. They assign a role to you. You're not acting out the role, so you're not a good parent. That's all it means. You're not acting out the script that I wrote for you as a parent. So now you've disappointed me as a parent. But we're doing the same thing all the time when we have a plan. You know, I'm going out with you tonight, and I really want you to enjoy being with me. My plan is for you to enjoy me, and I've come up with the things I'm going to do to make that happen. You hated your date with me. I am totally hurt. Why? I'm hurt because my plan didn't turn out the way that I wanted my plan to turn out. But I don't realize I never would have been hurt if I didn't have a plan. Other than we're going to get together in the present moment, be as loving as we can be, and see how the evening organically unfolds. So if it don't go in the direction that I want it to go, then I go, okay, let's see if I can have some fun in the direction it is going. Because my goal is still the same, for us to have a loving time. Maybe it's not going to happen through the thing I said. I thought we wanted to go rafting, and that would be fun for you, and you tell me that's the last thing on earth you ever want to do. You had a traumatic experience in the bathtub. And so you never... So you ain't going nowhere near rap. Just like I tell my friends, if you ever see me on a slope skiing, that's not me. It's an alien shooting. That is not Earl. You will not see me. I'm not a black skier. And how many of those have you seen? There are some, but very few. Very, very few. You know. I don't let the subject matter get in the way of what I have to say. You know. So, like Nigga said, fake people, good lesson. I received it. Shanae says, God first. Thank you for the reminder, Earl. Scholarship is paid out as I continue to prioritize relationship with my Creator. I love it. That's exactly right. Stella says, amen. That parallels perfectly in my world as well. I don't get swept up in egos. Only the Holy Spirit is fully complete and loving. Talisha just says, basically, thank you for this. And CJ says, the present moment creates itself in the holy instant. And Shanae says, woo-hoo, I love this. Go with the flow, with the attention of love. Stop planning so hard, baby. That's what I'm saying. You know, that is fulfilling to me. That is me being a conduit for the truth to come through. To who? Me. Mm-hmm. Because you are me. Mm-hmm. We are one self. There isn't but one of us here. Awesome, 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 awesome. In making, the form becomes very important. Why? Because in making, the egoic man already believes and knows what things are for, since all things are for the ego's safety and continuance. Therefore, the form of how things are done becomes very important, for form is image, form is not content. So, the difference between making and creating is the difference between illusion and reality. Reality is the love that is God. Reality is the love that is the Creator. You did not create yourself. 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 You didn't create yourself. You didn't create yourself. You did not create yourself. You did not create yourself. Something created you. Something is giving you life right now. And it isn't you. You aren't giving yourself life right now. Life is giving you right now. So reality is the love that is God. Reality is the Creator's will to extend love. You were created out of the will of the Creator. Something wanted you to exist. Something wanted you to exist. And therefore, your will to express love, me sitting up here wanting to express love, you wanting to express love, that's really God wanting to express love. And God is wanting to express love and is using me to do it. What I want is a trip to Tahiti. You follow what I'm saying? The maximum personality self is not making loving everybody unconditionally and spiritual awareness its number one priority. Usually when people make God and spiritual awareness their number one priority, it's because it's something they want. And they want to use God and the truth to get the car, God and the truth to get the girlfriend, God and the truth to get the job. You know what I'm saying? It's usually God or the truth is looked at as a means to achieve some human desire. Not God is the goal because I want to know my relationship to my source and express it. I want a house. If I can get in touch with God, God might give me a house. I really saw God as a genie. It's like, you know, like you just rub the genie and you make 3 wishes and the genie says, I'm going to give it to you. That's what I thought God was. Just something out there to give me my fantasies. And so I studied all this stuff so that my fantasy could be manifested. And I didn't want God. I wanted what I thought God could give me. That's different from wanting your relationship with your source. You know, and that's what makes the difference when you go, what I want is what you want. That part of me called God that loves me more than I could ever imagine loving me. I want what you want for me because you love me more than I do. So whatever I come up with really would be much less than what the part of me that loves me that's infinite would give me. So I'm going for the big deal now, more so than the little stuff that I can make up. You know what I mean? Because the rest of the stuff is thrown in anyway. If I knew myself as an abundant, unlimited being, what is it in the world that I couldn't have? So I don't have to make that the number one priority. You know what I'm saying? You know, if let's use money as an example. If I had $1 million that I could buy anything with, my focus wouldn't be on the thing I could buy if I got the thing that would allow me to buy anything. So I want to get in touch with the source. Then I'm not so caught up on what I could get with the source, what I could buy with the source, what I could purchase with the source. So I want the whole manufacturing plant, not just the thing the plant manufactures. And our Creator is the ultimate manufacturing creative part of us. And what you really want is to extend love and to receive love. Real love. Not that old human love that's based on whether or not you act right. I'm talking about the real deal that you cannot lose no matter what you do. That's what I want. I'm going for the brass ring. I'm going for the thing that is more than any human being can ever give me, including me, give me. I'm going for the real deal. That's what I want. I want real love. So he just told me tonight how to do it. No matter what I'm doing with any of you, is to say that God, I'm here right now. Spirit, I'm here right now. Use me to express truth, love, and light to the people in front of me. Use me to help them recognize they're greater than they could ever imagine that they are. And I'm going to see them that way until they recognize it. And the promise is I'll be taken care of. All obstacles will be removed before I get them. That my path will be straight. That I will be provided for on every level. That is what's going to naturally happen if I do what I was born for. So let's acknowledge us for hearing this much. And come on. We can do it online. We're going to do it. Whoa. Yes. I needed that. So I'm going to do some takeaways in just a moment. And we're going to do the financial expression of appreciation. I thank you because what you share, I really appreciate it in terms of my full-time ministry. And also, it helps us be right where we are, having a place to meet. So I really appreciate that. Let me pass that around. And those of you online, really, thank you for sharing with me. I am a full-time teacher. That's what I do in the world because I want to be a minister of God. I want to be a minister of love. If you do see value and you feel spiritually moved to share with me, just go to my website, earlpurdy.com. And I'm also available for
It's-
one-on-one
yeah.
sessions called clarity sessions that I
I
can
found
do
it somewhere.
on the phone or over Skype, no matter where you are, where I work with you personally, one-on-one, to get rid of the blocks and help you really apply this and make it more than theoretical in your experience. So go to my website, and I have hundreds of videos and audios on my website that can be downloaded also. So I'm available for coaching and mentoring and counseling. I can save you time. Spirit through me can save you time if you want peace of mind so that you can hear your own guidance. And if you're open to it,
Right here.
I also use my knowledge of astrology and numerology, which is just as spiritual as anything else that you're studying. Don't believe the misperceptions that people have around that. Most people who have opinions about astrology and numerology and tools of divination know nothing about it. And they're just acting from what they've learned in the past and what somebody else has taught them. That's okay. But there are people who also recognize that intuitive psychic awareness is just as much a part of our being as reason and logic is. Both sides of those need to be utilized. So I'm open and receptive to helping you and being a channel. So is there anything that anyone heard tonight that they would like to take with them? Any takeaways online or in the room?
Stop thinking about yourself so much.
Stop thinking about yourself so much. Yeah. Yes. Stop thinking about yourself so much. Stop thinking about yourself so much. Stop taking yourself from heights of ecstasy to the depths of despair, because all you're doing is thinking about yourself. And that's why you're depressed. It's because you're thinking about yourself. Because you know that being depressed just means that you think there's something that you want that you're being deprived of that you can't have.
Yep.
That's all depression ever is. You think there's something that you want that you're deprived of that you can't have. Anybody else? Takeaways?
Egoic people always try to receive more than they give.
Egoic people are always trying to get more than they give. Absolutely.
So choose what God wants for you, which is way more than you could ever make up.
Choose for what God wants for you, which is way more than you can make up. And CJ says, be sure to sign up for the email list. Go to my website, sign up for my contact list, because I will be doing advanced classes, and I will be doing them in person and online at the same time. Stella, you said I'm looking forward to my clarity session. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. Talisha says, self-sabotage will continue in your life until you work through your unconscious blocks and realize you are loved, and worthy of all good things. Shanae says her takeaway is to ask, what is this for? What is the purpose? What do I want to come from this? Demola says, I'm open to racks and racks of holes from Walmart. Demola. Me too. Let's go to Walmart together, Demola. What's your credit limit, buddy? CJ says, your only function is to serve as a conduit through which the unfathomable, that word always gets me, unfathomable mystery and beauty of love can be expressed in ways that can be seen in this world. And don't forget to share these videos. The more you share these videos and comment and like, the more it extends its reach on Facebook. So I would love for you to do that. Joy says she needed my words more than ever. Huge, big old hug. All right. So 1 minute. Reality is the love that is God. 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 I say reality is the love that is God's. Reality is the love that is God. Your only function is to serve. Your only function is to serve. Your only function is to serve as what? As a conduit. I like to say as a can do it. You are a can do it. You are a can do it. I am a can do it. You are a can do it of love. You are a conduit for the beauty of love to be expressed in ways that can be seen in this world. One last thing. You are in the act of extending creation. You are in the act of extending creation. Whether you surrender your own ideas, whenever you surrender your own ideas of what a thing is for, you are in the act of extending creation. Whenever you surrender your own ideas of what things are for. You are a blessing to the world. Whenever you bless yourself, you bless the world. Bless yourself so you can bless the world. Bless yourself so you can bless the world. You were born and created to create. I was born and created to create. I was born and created to create. I was born and created to create. You were born and created to create. You were born and created to create, not to make. Not to make. You were created to create, not to make. Mighty companions, mighty companions, mighty companions. May the course, the way of mastery course, may the course be with you.
All right.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. I love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. You all are all blessings in my life. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm.